I know you are still out there somewhere. I can feel your presence. Though I drove you back to your desolate mountain haven, I know you are not yet defeated, not yet ready to yield. Now I alone stand in your way, the last obstacle on your path of domination. Though you are powerful, Karshan, you now know that I too am not without my influences. I can only hope that you have not sensed my weariness since our last battle, that you also must pause to regain your magical potence. I am tired, yet I would give my last breath before I would stand by and watch you rule over Deminia. Anton's eyes shot open, awake. A feeling crept through his body, a feeling very familiar and very unwanted. A sense that magical energies were gathering near his domain had invaded the tranquility of Anton's sleep, clinging to his awareness. He rose abruptly from the thatched cot and crossed the main floor of his cottage to the door. He threw it open, nearly ripping it from its hinges as he heard the first clap of thunder echo down the valley before him. It was as he feared. The centermost peak of the Keytirn Mountains, looming above him, had taken on an eerie, red glow, perceivable only by a wizard. So soon. We shall see if your youthful energies betray you to foolishness, Karshan. Anton stepped out into the clearing in front of his home and began to clear his mind, preparing for the duel. At that moment, a stream of red light arced down from the top of the glowing mountain, striking the ground just in front of the Sharnwood swamp at the base of the Keytirn range. Showers of ghostly sparks rose from the terminus, slowly taking the shape of a goblin raiding band advancing upon the valley floor. The clanking of their light armor was barely audible above the hiss of the rain that had begun to fall. Anton stretched out with his consciousness, trying to access the magical energies from the nearest section of the grand plains behind him. A field of faint, white light acknowledged his contact. The goblins' march broke into a run. The swampland behind them lit up in an almost ultraviolet glow as they raised the standards of their master, the great crest of Karshan, etched magically into a banner from the orcs of Tolor. When the attack came, the goblins fought with extra zeal, knowing that their lord supported them directly. Anton recoiled. Karshan had drawn first blood. He immediately drew upon the power of the forest around him and the plains behind him, tracing a circle of protection to ward off the goblins and the other mountain-born creatures that Karshan might bring to his aid. The pattern completed, his mana temporarily gone, he waited for his opponent's next move. Readying for their next attack, Karshan's goblins began to move, then paused suddenly. The ultraviolet glow emanating from the swamp reached out to meet them, bathing them in an unearthly light. Anton watched their metamorphosis with horror. Eyes on fire, tendons tensing, a renewed hatred coursing through them. They turned to look in Anton's direction, then came alive, attacking with doubled effort. They were willing to die for their summoner, yet they met no resistance. What is this? Where are my creatures? If only I had more time to rest. Anton responded with a spell of his own. Extending his control across to the next section of forest, he joined its greenish glow with that of the plains, and outshot a bolt of white light, striking the goblins. With a blast of energy, the white spell mingled with the ultraviolet, dissolving the fibers of Karshan's spell. The goblins' newfound strength waned. The ultraviolet light was now gone. Anton waited, not using the energy from the last parcel of forest available to him. He knew that he would need it to activate the protective circle. The red glow extended to the next mountain peak. Anton wiped the rain from his brow, anticipating the goblin's next assault, waiting with mana in reserve. The rain. Something wrong with the rain. It doesn't have the right scent, the right color. Move! Just as Anton bolted from his position, the heavy drops of rain began to alter, first forming small pebbles, then growing to nearly the size of large fists. They pelted the trees, the ground, his home. The stones fell for only a few moments, but they destroyed all that they struck. The land where Anton had made his home was gone, as was the power it would have produced. Anton's heart ached with the loss, which made the sting of the goblin's next attack all the worse. All that he could do for the moment was to reach out toward more vital lands and hope that the tables would soon turn. How many more tricks do you hold, Karshan? How much longer can you keep this up? You may think that I am beaten, but I still hold some secrets of which even you are unaware. The swamp's area of radiance doubled, casting a ghastly aura of dark violet light against the base of the key tier. It's almost beautiful, Karshan. Anton chuckled to himself. The chuckle turned into a choke as he saw a huge figure appearing through the haze of the rain, a great construct of stone and wood rising from the valley, making its way directly for him. The Juggernaut would be here soon, but for the moment he must tend to the ever-present harassment of the goblins. With a thought, he transferred the mana from one parcel of plains into his circle of protection. The goblins fell short, halted in their tracks by the mystical powers of the circle. With the goblins cowed for the moment, Anton saw his chance. Reaching out to the next section of forest, he dredged up all of his energies. Tapping directly into his subconscious, he called out to the creatures of the forest. His answer came, materializing before him in the form of a colossal spider. Its legs the size of tree trunks, it could knock the birds from the air if it wished. I must have more time. The spider may hold off Karshan's Juggernaut for a while, but even it will fall to the machine's power soon. If only I can hold on just a little longer. Somewhere through the storm, a light buzzing noise had begun. It reached Anton's ears, slowly gaining volume, becoming more recognizable. He strained against the sound of the falling rain, trying to identify the sound. Voices. Voices that were not quite human, yet not of the animal world. They rose in a discordant choir, chanting, vibrating, seeming to warp the bounds of reality, so that the violet glow of the swamp intensified threefold. A streak of red light, razor thin and sharp, slashed out from the mountaintop, targeting the great arachnid with pinpoint accuracy. For just a second, Anton thought he heard the thing scream, but the beast was replaced by a thin cloud of fine dust quickly dispersed by the rainfall. The Juggernaut and the goblins were then upon him, the magical banner still inspiring them. I must not lose consciousness. Anton let loose a desperate call for help, releasing mana from the forest. Coming to his aid were the scribe sprites, normally the pranksters of the woods, yet often its protectors. The sprites knew the gravity of their position. They must stop the great Juggernaut, or allow Deminia to fall into the hands of Karshan. They were prepared to die for Anton, and for the land. They flew between Anton and his enemies, and waited for the attack. Karshan's army advanced, slowly this time. The goblins bore wicked grins painted across their faces, as if they carried some terrible secret hidden behind their grisly visages. The Juggernaut, unrelenting in its attack, seemed aware of its own unstoppable nature. Anton waited, sensing the fate of Deminia slipping from his control. The sprites were all he had left. The goblin's horrible secret made itself known. Anton could do nothing as he watched a field of shimmering, flashing energy engulf the sprites, filling them with a fatal fear. Their screams of terror were the last thing Anton heard before the legions of Karshan descended upon him, and the mighty wizard fell. You have defeated me, Karshan, but know this. My spirit lives still, and I will return one day to reclaim that which is mine. In the meantime, others will come to take from you what you have usurped, and one day another will be stronger than you. Power has its price, and I have measured yours, so live looking over your shoulder, Karshan. I will be back. The very first sanctioned Magic the Gathering tournament was a best-of-3 event held at Gen Con 93. The final match of the tournament saw Rick Townsend pair off against Alex Parrish. Townsend was piloting a defensive green-white deck, while Parrish used a red-black aggro deck. Rick and Alex tied in the finals, taking them into round 3. The winner would become the first champion of the first ever Magic tournament. In the end, he was unfortunate, and Rick was unable to properly defend himself from Alex's assault. Alex Parrish would win the game 20 life to 0, becoming the Gen Con Magic Tournament champion. This duel, the first championship final round, was later turned into a piece of fiction featured in The Duelist issue number 1. In the story, Alex, known as Karshan, lays low Rick, named Anton, and claims victory over Dominia. As far as I can find, this story, Duel for Deminia, is the first ever printed story for Magic the Gathering. How appropriate, then, that it's based on the very first championship match. This story, and the game it reflects, are both an amazing piece of Magic's history, one that I'm all too glad to share with all of you. Did you like the story? If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more. If you have a topic you'd like me to cover, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Finally, this video was brought to you by my wonderful patrons, Eric Jimenez, Knott, Sirius Fang, and Chelsea. If you like what I do and want to support me, check out the link to my Patreon below. Thank you very much, and have a great day.